YouTube, and today I will be reviewing the Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater, the second book in the Raven cycle. I've done my review of the first book, which is the Raven Boys. I will put a link below. I left the end of that book for this one because obviously in order to be able to review a second book in a series, you need to be doing a little bit of spoilers. So the biggest spoiler, and I doubt anyone would be watching this review unless they've actually read the first book, was the very end of the Raven Boys. Ronan announced that his pet raven chainsaw was pulled out of his dreams. So it turns out that Ronan can manifest objects and things, living and non, out of his dreams. So this book very much centers around Ronan and his struggles with the idea that he can pull things out of his dreams and his family life and what has been left of it since the murder of his father. We have a few new characters in this one, just a quick rundown. The Grey Man, who is an assassin or hitman who appears in town. Declan Lynch and Matthew Lynch, who are brothers of Ronan Lynch. Orla, who is Blue's older, I'm going to say trampier, cousin, who is the daughter of her Aunt Jimmy. We have Kravinsky, who is a drag racing, self-destructive Agliner boy who appears throughout the book. Going into Blue's life and household, we have Calla. She likes the colour purple, which I'm quite happy about. That's my interpretation. It's the purple nails and things like that. Very strong woman, awesomely forthright, and will quite happily just tell anyone who will listen exactly what she thinks of them, exactly what she wants them to do, etc. She is a psychic who specializes in picking up the psychic energy from personal items. And we have another member of the household, which is Persephone, and she seems to be very ethereal in the way she wanders around the house. She seems very small. She's got light fuzzy hair that sort of surrounds her in an aura style, and she is working on her thesis or PhD thesis, which seems to have, you get the impression she's been doing it for a fairly long time. We also have a character that is a non-person, which is the pig, and this is Gainsey's car, ancient, it said, I'm thinking it's 70s by the sound of it. I think it says it somewhere there, but I couldn't remember exactly where it was. Orange red Camaro. I'm for him for this one. I can understand why he would put up with any sort of nonsense of fixing it to be able to drive that car. If it was a Corvette, I'd be more inclined to be very much in agreement with his choice of car. But a Camaro is pretty good as well. As I have said, at the end of the book, we've discovered that Ronan can pull things out of his dream, and one of the most important pieces that we find he's pulled out of a dream is a puzzle box that can translate words into different languages. If you dial in the correct one on one side, it will give you, I think it's got 6 or 7 languages around the outside. Six because it's a box. 6 languages around the outside of the box, 2 of which they don't know what language they are. We're dealing with Ronan and his family, the death of his father. The brothers aren't allowed back to the family farm, and his mother is in a coma. I really liked this book. I love the idea of being able to manifest things out of your dreams. There are a lot of things I go shopping very often in my dreams and make the most amazing looking things. I did it last night. There was a whole heap of earrings from Nightmare Before Christmas and t-shirts as well, and yeah, I would really like to be able to do this. However, there are consequences for one's actions, even in dreams, it would appear in this book. So we also, at the end of the previous book, found out that Noah had actually been killed by their Latin teacher when their Latin teacher was at attending Aglinalby School. Consequently, the reason why they know Noah is because his body had been left within the ley line, and it gave his spirit enough power to be able to manifest itself and attach himself to these people that were also investigating the ley lines and the Welsh king. At the end of the last book, because his remains were returned to his family, the boys and Blue went on a grave robbing expedition, which I absolutely loved, and took his remains from the cemetery where his family had put them and put them back in the ley line so he could continue his existence as it was. Now, the problem being is Noah is flickering in and out and feeling like he's losing very much part of himself. He's even to the point where he's reliving physically, well, as physical as a spirit can be, physically reliving his death in front of the group on occasions. Now, the problem they find is that not only Rowan can manifest things out of his dreams, his father had the ability as well, and spoiler alert, that's where his mother came from. His mother was actually a dream manifestation by their father. That is why she's in a coma and cannot wake up, because her father is their father is dead, and therefore can no longer continue to power her. It's found that not only his father used to be able to do it, but Kravinsky can do it as well. And he's teaching Ronan how to do it more and more effectively with the use of some very bizarre drugs. Every time they're pulling stuff out of their dreamscape, they're actually pulling power out of the ley lines, which is causing fluctuations and also causing Noah to fluctuate as well. So they have to fix this problem. That's where we have sort of a showdown between Kravinsky and the group, mainly being Ronan, Gacy, and Blue. This book was more of a healing process for Ronan, and even with the dream stuff, I didn't feel it was, I think because it was in territory I already knew, it wasn't quite as enjoyable, but it was pretty damn good, and I will be reading the next book. I'm hoping it focuses back on Blue in the next book, which I'm pretty sure that's the one that's got her name in the title. I've got them sitting on a shelf out there and I will find out. A little bit more in the development of the actual through line or the arc of the original story would also be good. So I still gave this one 4 out of 5. I really liked the idea of the dream stuff. However, I want a bit more development on the original story. Thank you very much for listening to my review. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. Here comes Colin. He's had enough. And I will see you next time. Happy reading.